Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition update for Skyrim Special Edition. My name is Camel, and today we're going to be taking a look at a unique katana, which while associated with the Daedric Prince Boethia, it is not of Daedric make, it is of Dragon make. And it is also an item that is involved with my favorite Easter egg in the entire Elder Scrolls series. We'll talk more on that later. I'll show you how to get and complete the related quest. We'll also run through all of its stats, how it works in game, and how it compares to other one-handed swords. We'll also talk about the lore of Goldbrand and its appearance in past games. Now, timestamps for each section can be found down in the description, along with links to all of my social media. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to keep up to date with what I'm doing, and please do me a kindness and check out my merch store to pick up some more unique items like this Camel Elder Scroll blanket, which will keep you warm and cloaked in lore while also helping me out. And be sure to stick around until the end to see the best Easter egg in the Elder Scrolls, and of course that is related to Goldbrand. With that said, let's get going and get our hands on this magical katana. So first thing we're going to need to do is actually get the related quest, which is called A Matter of Pride. To get this, we're going to need to wander up into the mountains east of Dunmeth Pass, at the northern tip of the Velothi Mountains, to the Sakellum of Boethia. On the map it can be found right here to the east of Windhelm. Once we arrive at this frozen bastion, we'll see a fighting pit girdled with sharpened wooden spikes. At the back we can find the cold, limp corpse of a woman in black robes. As we approach the body, automatically we will start the quest, A Matter of Pride. Now these are the remains of Aranya. On her corpse we can find her journal. We'll need to give this a read. To Sun's Height. My name is Aranya, Imperial Historian. My research on ancient artifacts has led me across the sands of Elsewhere and the forests of Valenwood, and now it has led me to the inhospitable north of Skyrim. My quarry is that of Goldbrand, a golden katana said to have been forged by dragons and embodies the powers of the Daedric Prince Boethia. The blade has passed through many hands, most recently those of Emperor Titus Mede II. He was rumoured to have possessed it during the Battle of the Red Ring. After the battle, Mede II, or one of his agents, had it returned to the tomb of the one said to have originally possessed the blade, Sivdur, an ancient Nord warrior who fought in defense of the dragons. And there in Sivdur's Respite is where Goldbrand is said to reside. Mede II was said to have felt that he lacked the right to claim the blade, and that it should return to the one who it was first entrusted. No direct record of the location of Sivdur's Respite exists in the Imperial archives. However, I discovered a strange missive on a mission involving precious cargo, and along with it, a map. As it turns out, this was the only record of the mission to return Goldbrand to Skyrim, and the map led to Sivdur's Respite. It lies in a cave in the mountains just north of Windhelm. Based on my findings there, I have other business to attend to now. It would seem I have some travelling yet to do. I have documented my findings in a separate journal on the topic, 15 Last Seed. I'm starting to believe I may have attracted unwanted attention. A group of dangerous cultists who worship the Daedric Prince Boethia are said to gather near Windhelm, and Goldbrand's whereabouts would no doubt be of interest to them. Already I feel like I see the same faces as I pass, strangers along the road. I should be careful. Not careful enough, it would seem. So, now we will have the quest that we need, called A Matter of Pride, and from here we are going to want to head to this aforementioned Sivdur's Respite. It is a small cave in the hills and is easy to miss, as it's not a very distinct dungeon opening. Now on the map it can be found right here, as the journal said, just to the north of Windhelm. Now once we get inside, a short crag passage will greet us, at the end of which is an open room with the beginnings of a Nordic ruin wedged into it. Inhabiting this room are also 3 Boethia cultists. Be sure to deal with them, as they appear to be cooking up trouble. Once they have been removed from the equation of life, on one of their corpses we can find a note titled Cultist's Note. It reads, "These mouth breathers don't stand a chance. Once I reclaim Goldbrand and slay them, along with our Lord's champion, Boethia will have no choice but to make me her new chosen one. I have seen it in my dreams, standing over the champion's lifeless body, clutching a gleaming golden katana turned red with the blood of my foes. We must puzzle out that Imperial Scholar's notes and breach the tomb. Then I will have my victory. So it would seem she was a true follower of Boethia, but that's irrelevant now because she's dead, so I hope she enjoys her afterlife in Attribution's Share, which is the name of Boethia's Daedric realm. Anyway, in the more Nordically ruined side of this cave, we can find a wooden crate with a knapsack leaning against it. Atop this very wooden box is a journal, titled Eranya's Notes on Sivdur's Tomb. We will, of course, have to give this a look. 7 Suns Height. I have arrived. The entrance of Sivdur's tomb remains impressively intact. I hope that the interior remains equally well preserved. That is, assuming Titus Me II elected not to pillage the entire ruin over 2 decades ago when Goldbrand was allegedly returned to Sivdur's side. One can only hope that he exercised restraint. It appears that the burial chamber is locked using an ancient mechanical system, and only by placing the correct objects on the pedestals flanking the chamber's entrance will the path open. Fascinating. I must research where to find the relics required to open the chamber. I shall return when I have more answers. 23 Suns Height. The inscriptions relate to 2 ancient relics. The first is Sivdur's Amulet, inscribed with the symbols of his rank and other honorifics. The second is the skull of Sivdur's betrayer and lifelong enemy, Magrathi. Sivdur, never having exacted revenge in his time, now calls out to us from the beyond to defile his enemy's resting place and place the skull near his sacred burial chamber as a sort of trophy. Morbid, but not uncommon for the period. I now go out in search of the relics that will lead to the opening of the tomb. I have left my notes where I conducted my research in the Arcanaeum in the College of Winterhold. If some ill fate were to befall me, perhaps another may continue the search. Well, it's quite funny that she wrote that because looks like we are going to have to follow up on her research. Now before we leave though, we can see 2 pedestals on either side of the stone door where we need to place these 2 relics mentioned in the journal. Once we retrieve them, of course. But now our next step is to head to the arcane institution known as the College of Winterhold, an ancient citadel of Cabalics and mysticism, home to the deepest lore dive I've ever taken, the Augur of Dunlane. Be sure to check out that video linked above. It is truly a titanic wormhole of investigation into shedding revealing light on the most mysterious character in Skyrim, the Augur of Dunlane. Anyway, on the map, the College of Winterhold can be found, of course, right here next to the city of Winterhold, on the far northeastern shores of Skyrim. Once we are here, we need to head into the Arcanaeum, which serves as the college's library. At the edge of the room, we can find a pile of books along with a journal titled Eranya's Research Notes, which read, 10 Suns Height. I have arrived at the College of Winterhold, who have generously allowed a fellow academic, like myself, to make use of their vast library. A good thing, as even in the short ride from Sivdur's Respite, north of Windhelm, I feel chilled down to my very bones. I now search for the means to gain entrance to Sivdur's tomb using the faint inscriptions found near the entrance. My objectives are to discover where Sivdur's amulet might be found, as well as the burial site of Sivdur's nemesis, Magrathi. I shall start with texts on ancient Nord heroes and work backwards from there. 13 Suns Height. No luck thus far, discouraging, but I will not despair. The answers lie in these walls somewhere. 14 Suns Height. A breakthrough. It has been recorded that Sivdur's amulet has traditionally been passed down from father to son for generations. If my tracing of the lineages is correct, the current living descendants of Sivdur are the Battleborns, a clan that resides in the city of Whiterun. If this is true, then Sivdur's amulet is likely possessed by the youngest Battleborn son, one Lars Battleborn. I must inquire with them. 19 Suns Height. Details are sparse, but Magrathi appears to have once been an influential priest of the dragon cult. He seems to have slain Sivdur's brother over rightful ownership of a silver mine. He is said to have been laid to rest in Shroud Half Barrow near Ivarstead. I will now return to Sivdur's Respite, take some additional notes, and then travel east to Windhelm, where a few good sellswords might be found that can help me with this treacherous undertaking. Now, as interesting as all of that was, as soon as we put the journal down, we will be attacked by 2 cultists of Boethia who sneak in using invisibility potions. Now be sure to take them out and don't let them take you by surprise. Also, don't give them the grace of an arrow to the knee, stick it somewhere else that they will never forget. So now, with that rabble out of the way, and with sacrificing 1 arrow that's so far into a cultist you will not want to retrieve it, let's head to Whiterun and visit Lars Battleborn first, as that should be the easiest task of the 2. Of course, once here, we'll need to find this little lad, Lars Battleborn. Once you do, just ask him about the amulet that his father gave him, and then we have a few options to get it off him. Just pick one. Here you go, Sonny Jim, here's 10 gold pieces. Why don't you go and buy some moon sugar off the nice Khajiit down the road? Yes, that's right, the one sitting outside the tent. Yep, best candy you'll ever have. So now that he's happier than he's ever been, and we now have the amulet, now we will have to head to Shroud Half Barrow, which can be found right here on the map, just to the west of Ivarstead. Now before we head inside, I would just like to say that if you do like the look of my game at all during this video, feel free to check out the full Skyrim Anniversary Edition mod list video that I've done. It's a full visual overhaul mod list and mod showcase that of course works with Skyrim Anniversary Edition. It took me about 3 months to put together, and I'd really appreciate you checking it out. And 100% guaranteed, if you're on PC, you will find a ton of new mods that you'll love to install. So now let's head into Shroud Half Barrow. Once in here, there will be a ghost running around. Don't mind him, he's part of an unrelated quest. Now soon after entering, we will be faced by a barred door. What we'll need to do is come into this little room left of the stairs, where there are 4 levers. So what we need to do is pull the left lever on the right side, and then pull the left lever on the left side. And now we can continue on and the 2 barred doors will be open. Soon after, we will have to kill that ghost that I just spoke of, sink some arrows into him, and he'll be out of our way. Now right where we killed him, right when we encountered him, turn left from his corpse and there will be a booby-trapped door, through which is fire and then another door. Now through this second door is a long hallway in which we can find the dragon priest Magrathi. He is pretty tough, but with the new Bow of Shadows, he is no problem at all. Honestly, took him out, it was like a joke, almost. See the link above to get your hands on the Bow of Shadows, it's pretty overpowered. Now once this mighty foe has been felled on his corpse, we can retrieve his skull along with some gold. So now we've got what we need, we can leave the dungeon, and to do so we need to go back to those 4 levers we pulled a little while ago and just do it in reverse. So on the left pair of levers, pull the left lever, and then on the right pair of levers, pull the left lever. Then the door up the stairs will be open and we can get out. So now with both the trinkets that we need, we will head back to Sivdur's Respite. On the left pedestal, we can find the inscription, "I, Sivdur, warrior and defender of dragons, lie in rest here. My amulet, the symbol of my valor, place it here so that I may have proof of my deeds in Sovngarde." So we need to place the amulet on this one, which will unlock the first layer of stone. Then to the right pedestal, where the inscription reads, "Forever my nemesis, Magrathi, high priest and slayer of my brother. His skull, the symbol of his betrayal. Place it here, away from his kinsmen, so that he may never find peace." Bit rough, but sure, of course, we must place the skull here, which will unlock the second stone door. Once we head further into the tomb, we will be facing off against a fair few high-level Draugr, so come prepared for that, as some of these boys are tough, but once again, dealt with easily using the Bow of Shadows. The dungeon is pretty short and you'll soon come out into the burial chamber, where on an illuminated altar we can find the Daedric artifact of dragon make resting on its supposed original resting place. Once we take the katana for ourselves, more Draugr will emerge from the stone coffin, so be prepared for that. Anyway, I'm sure you can deal with that, so now that we have the Daedric artifact Goldbrand, let us take a look at its stats and how it compares to other one-handed swords in Skyrim. Now it has a base damage of 15, which puts it on par with ebony swords and chillrends, only bested by Daedric swords, dragonbone swords, and Mirak's sword, so its base damage is actually really really, really high, and one of the highest in the game for a one-handed sword. Now it has a swing speed of 1, which is on par with all other one-handed swords. This gives it a base DPS of 15, which lands it in the same ranking as the base damage did. So while there are better one-handed swords, just slightly better one-handed swords, this thing is still in the top 5. Now it has a reach of 1, along with all other one-handed swords. It has a weight of 17, which makes it one of the heaviest one-handed swords in the game. But then again, like Lydia's heart, it is made of gold, so it makes sense. Now it has a value of 3,413 gold, which is quite substantial. But of course, again, it is made of gold, so makes sense. It can be upgraded with a gold ingot because, it's made of gold, so makes sense. And to do so, you will need the arcane smithing perk. And its enchantment. It burns targets for 30 points. Targets on fire take extra fire damage. Now this enchantment is actually a pretty healthy effect, and I do believe one of the most powerful elemental damage enchantments on any weapon in the game. So overall, pretty damn good weapon. Now physically, Goldbrand takes the form of a katana. Even the handguard has a dragon on it, while other metal pieces have very oriental designs and engravings, and the handle wrap looks, well, exactly like that found on a real-life Japanese katana. So its real-life influences are pretty obvious. However, unlike something that you'd actually want to wield in real life, well, it's colored gold because, I may have mentioned, it is made of gold, so the coloring makes sense, but a super heavy weapon that bends upon the first strike, it's not something you'd actually want to use, but, this is fantasy. It's not the craziest thing we've seen in the Elder Scrolls. Now, in use in game, of course, Goldbrand is exactly what you think it is. It's one of the most powerful one-handed swords in the game and has a very straightforward enchantment that deals significant fire damage. So as a viable option in endgame, Goldbrand is definitely something you can use endgame, as the stat difference with weapons better than it are minimal and oftentimes they have weaker enchantment. So at this point it really comes down to taste and what you like using. It's one of those weapons that does exactly what it says it does at face value. Now the lore of Goldbrand is fairly concise. Goldbrand is almost a complete mystery. Thieves tell tales about its golden make and how it was forged by ancient dragons of the north. Their tales claim it was given to a great knight who was sworn to protect the dragons. At some point it has become a weapon associated with the Daedric Prince of Deceit, Conspiracy, Treachery and Sedition, Boethia. Although how this connection to the Daedric Prince came to be is unknown. So with this story in mind, it would seem that it was crafted by the dragons of the north, which of course would be dragons in Skyrim, and the great knight that it was given to was likely Sivdur, the man whose tomb we retrieve it from. While of course this is speculation, all of the puzzle pieces fit perfectly. Now onto its appearance in previous games. So in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Goldbrand is given to the Nerevarine, the character that you play, by Boethia, after building a shrine for the Daedric Prince at Kartag Point. So in regards to lore, nothing too interesting here. However, what is cool is that with Goldbrand, you can turn it into a hidden weapon known as Eltonbrand that is significantly more powerful, but the method to achieve this Eltonbrand, or Blue Brand, as it is sometimes known, is ridiculous, and one of my favorite Easter eggs in all of the Elder Scrolls. I do cover it in full in my 10 most hidden unique items in Morrowind video, which I cannot more highly recommend that you watch. It's a really cool deep dive into hidden secrets of the Elder Scrolls. But to give you a short rundown, after receiving Goldbrand from Boethia, you must become a vampire, which is a terrible thing in Morrowind because basically every single NPC in the game won't talk to you because you're a hideous vampire. But once you become a vampire, you get a quest of Cirilonwi in the Mages Guild in Vivec City's Foreign Quarter. Then you head to Ald'ruhn and kill Shishev and take his key. So we need to take Shishev's key. Then we head back to Vivec City and make sure that we are carrying Goldbrand, and also carrying exactly 11,171 gold, and of course carrying Shishev's key, which we need to finish the quest. Once we have all of that, we need to speak to Cirilonwi, and Goldbrand will be removed from our inventory and Eltonbrand will be added to our inventory along with the message, "Go to hell, Carolina." Now this is an Easter egg referencing the Duke Blue Devils basketball team and their rivals, the North Carolina Tar Heels, where at the time the Duke Blue Devils' best victory over the North Carolina Tar Heels was a score of 111-71, referencing the exact amount of gold that we needed to carry to do this. Now, a longtime Blue Devils coach was Mike Krzyzewski. That is why we needed to kill Krzyzew and take his key. We needed Krzyzew's key, and the sword itself, Eltonbrand, is named after a player of the Duke Blue Devils called Eltonbrand. So there's a ton of super cool stuff, and it's such a ridiculous method to get it. I have no doubt in my mind that no one ever actually got this by just playing the game randomly. I think it was definitely found in the game's coding, and then, it was like reverse engineered how to get it. But that's a very short rundown of this super cool Easter egg. And again, I definitely recommend you check out the 10 most hidden unique items in Morrowind video that I referenced. It's linked up above. Now, this Eltonbrand, as I mentioned earlier, is also superior to Goldbrand in stats as well, so along with just the humor and ridiculousness of it, it is actually worth getting for gameplay reasons. Anyway, so there's that. Now after that, Goldbrand was seen in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, as it was given to the player after completing the Tournament of 10 Bloods and coming out victorious as Boethiah's champion. The reward, of course, was Goldbrand. Nothing too noteworthy there in terms of lore, but finally, in the now defunct Elder Scrolls Legends card game, a Dremora named Reeve, who was in the service of Lord Narafin, a Thalmor general, wielded Goldbrand, by which means this Dremora Reeve received Goldbrand is unknown. After Reeve's defeat, the Forgotten Hero, the player character, took Goldbrand and wielded it into the Battle of the Red Ring, while also wearing Emperor Titus Mede II's armor. Now previously in battle, the Emperor had been wounded and was unfit to enter the Battle of the Red Ring, but the Emperor's presence on the battlefield was vital for the morale of the Imperial Legion. So, the Forgotten Hero posed as the Emperor by wearing his armor and carrying Goldbrand into battle. Although this has never been confirmed by any Imperial records, but you literally experience it firsthand in the Elder Scrolls Legend, as you are that player character. So it would seem that that is why Emperor Titus Mede decided to return it to its original resting place here in Sivdur's tomb in Skyrim. Because he only received it because he killed a Dremora that had it, he didn't feel like it belonged to him. He went to put it back where it belonged, basically. Until we came along and we go and snake it. Now, as I always love, as we can see across the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls Legends, and now the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Anniversary Edition, Goldbrand always looks just about the same, and does not vary wildly in appearance like some other items do across Elder Scrolls titles. So that is always good for lore and continuity reasons, as I'm glad that Goldbrand has remained as it was first designed and has reappeared again as it was first designed, which thankfully so far is a common thread with the Skyrim Anniversary Edition content. The designs of everything are super on point when it comes to lore continuity, and Goldbrand is no different. So, with that, I do believe that we have covered absolutely everything that you need to know to get your hands on Goldbrand, and give you enough of an insight into its mechanics to get a good idea of how it works, and it's very simple. It does exactly what it says it does. Now, I would love to know if you have any other tips or tricks or anything I've missed about Goldbrand, and if you come up with any cool build ideas or ways to use it, I'd love to hear about those in the comments. Also, let me know any other Anniversary Edition content that you would like me to make videos about to help you out. Be sure to check out my social media, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, along with checking out my merch store. It's a great way to support the channel and also get something cool in return at the same time. All those links can be found down below. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more useful and interesting Elder Scrolls content. As I'm sure you know, all of my time and energy goes into making these videos that I create for you to enjoy. So if you would like to support my channel in a more personal way, feel free to become a patron on Patreon or become a member right here on YouTube. Your support is most welcomed and appreciated in any and all forms. So thank you very much for supporting my channel, thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Camel, and I will see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there soon.